So, we have the Crew Motorfest, and I would like to thank Ubisoft for providing me with access to the game. And what we're going to be doing in this video is going through, is basically information about the game so that you get an understanding of what's to come. But at the same time, there's going to be a couple of tips and stuff in there as well. So it's everything you need to know about the game, along with some tips. And to start this one off, I will say they've put it into the, basically I'm part of the Ubisoft Creator Program. They've put a note in there saying that there are some issues if you have OBS installed. It is causing some lag, and it caused a lot of lag for me. It was basically like I was playing a slideshow on the PC. So what I did is use the Xbox code they provided me with as well, installed it on my Series X, and that is the footage you are seeing. So if you are trying to play the game and you've got OBS installed, then uninstall OBS if you can, but obviously if you're a content creator, that's going to be a lot more difficult. So if you cannot uninstall it, try reverting to version 28.1.0, as that one seems to be working with the game, and I believe they will get fixes out for it soon. Obviously, this closed beta is only running until the 23rd of July, so there's not a lot of time, but I'm pretty sure they are going to have another beta or something before release. If not, I don't think release is too far away. In fact, we have less than 2 months. It launches on the 11th of September 2023, if Google is correct. So, jumping into the game straight away, you are introduced to 5 different playlists. And when I say this game has a lot of content, I mean there are so many different playlists and challenges and activities and stuff that you can do. But the game's going to slowly introduce you to 5 of them. You're going to have Made in Japan, which is all about Japanese cars, street racing, drifting, all that sort of stuff. Then you're going to have off-road. You will have motorsports like Formula 1 and stuff. You will then get vintage cars, which are fantastic. And then you also have a Lamborghini playlist. The game is based in Hawaii. It's nice and vibrant. The open world is actually really, really big. And if there is anything to complain about, in my opinion, it's a little thing that I think needs changing, and that is the idle timer. If you go idle in this game and it feels as though it's about 5 minutes, you get kicked back to the main menu, so you have to load back in. If they can increase that to maybe 10 or 15 minutes, I think that would be the perfect sort of spot. But that's pretty much the only negative I really have towards it. There's fast travel in the game. I really, really like the handbrake mechanic, because if you're driving something like a BMW, it's not necessarily designed for drifting. If you slam on the handbrake, it doesn't feel too tight, and it doesn't feel as though it's not tight enough. I feel the handbrake really helps you get around some tighter corners without slowing you down too much. As long as you're not too heavy on it, the mechanic for handbraking just feels really, really smooth. The transitions, I think, are fantastic. The way they'll show you, like for Made in Japan, as an example, they'll show you like a screen, you've got a car on it, and they'll basically just zoom into that, and that's your transition into that. So something I pointed out, because I spoke about the Crew 2 recently, something I spoke about was how quick and seamless loading into different things were, and it doesn't feel as though it's quite up to the quality of seamless transitions with the Crew 2, but it's definitely there. The loading only takes a long time in certain areas, but for the majority of it, the transitions, the loading, really, really cool, nice and fast. It stops you being out of the racing action. It makes it a lot less interrupting. And not only that, this game has car meets. They have shows where you can see some absolute beauties. And there was one that I saw, I don't know if it would act that way in the game, but basically there was like this LED light show going on inside the car. And I don't know how that would work if it is actually available for when you're driving your car. Obviously, if you're in cockpit view, it's going to be really, really hard to see with lights everywhere. But it was just a nice touch to have these car meets, because there are so many cars. Some absolutely fantastic looking cars were in there when I jumped in. And I think the dialogue said that it changes like every week, and it shows off some of the nicest cars around. And if you play Forza Horizon and you're interested in that sort of a game, I feel as though the Crew Motorfest is kind of taking inspiration from like quite a few areas with Forza Horizon. Because you have the festival, you have a rewind system, you've got I think it's called Anna in Forza, like basically your GPS navigator, like so on and so forth. There's actually a few, I'm going to say, Forza features in the Crew Motorfest. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. I love both the Crew and Forza, so mixing them together, I think is a really, really good idea. In the Crew Motorfest, the same with the Crew 2, I'm not a fan of racing in manual. The buttons on controller, as far as I am aware, they cannot be manually remapped. So I looked through all the different settings, the different layouts for the buttons and stuff, and the best I could find was what they call manual. You have gear up is Y and gear down is X. So what I've done is left myself in automatic because I will not be able to get on with Y being my gear up and X being gear down. I don't mind X being gear down, but Y as gear up just feels a little bit weird for me personally. So if you're interested in manual driving and you don't like that layout, then that's obviously not going to be something for you, and you might just want to stick to automatic. And something they've kept in the game from the Crew 2, which I absolutely love, is the car part loot system. It's in the game, it's in Motorfest. Every single time you win a race, you are awarded new parts. So you go into a race, you complete that event, you're awarded different parts to upgrade your car. They also have the treasure chests in the game as well. I managed to find one, it gave me car parts, it gave me money and XP. And I have to give them a little bit of extra credit because with Made in Japan, yeah, they've got the Skyline in the game, so that makes me very, very happy because the Skyline, thanks to Too Fast, Too Furious, is one of my favourite cars of all time. And then, besides the handbrake mechanic, when it comes to drifting, the drifting I feel, personally, especially for an arcade racer, because this isn't a simulator racer game, I think they've got the drifting absolutely spot on. The drifting in the game has its own events, and the cars that you're given just slide around the corners when you need them to, and they also keep their speed even in automatic. There were some drifting events, I can't remember the exact name of the game, but in one of the old Need for Speeds, there were some drifting events which I really, really liked. And the drifting in the Crew Motorfest brought me back to it. I feel that mechanic, they've absolutely nailed it. At least for me personally. I know some people won't get on with it. And if there was something that was a little bit disappointing, the game doesn't let you finish in style. If you're ahead of all the competition, you decide to slam a 180, go through the finish line in reverse, the transition that is going to show at the end of the race is just going to spit you out going forward. I really would have liked it if the transitions could have had your car going the way you finished the race. I think it would have just looked a little bit cooler. It's not a problem, obviously, it's a transition to end the race. But I will say, to wrap this one up, if you enjoy racing, there are so many event types in this game. From your typical racing, your point-to-points, your circuits, all the way to drifting, and drag racing is in the game as well. And it's drag racing to where you have to warm up your tyres, you have to get a good launch from it, and then you have to shift up on your own. So playing in automatic, it had me using the bumpers, but in a drag race, I'm not bothered. And the drag racing is a really, really good addition to this as well. I haven't played too much of the Crew 2, so I don't know if a lot of the stuff has been brought forward to Motorfest. I'm not sure if it's all new stuff, but that's what I kind of picked up from my experience in Motorfest, what I played of it. That's the stuff that I felt needed to be spoken about. That's the things you need to know about the game. And there's a couple of tips and stuff in there as well. And on that note, we are going to leave the video there. If you enjoyed it, leaving a like is appreciated. If you wish to support me further as a creator, there are links in the description. Let me know your thoughts about the video in the comments. And if you want to watch more, you can click the video on screen. All support on the channel is greatly appreciated, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.